Lakshman, and Guha. They are the Ramayanis who chant the entire Ramcharitmanas night after night. They actually begin 10 days before the Ramlila begins because the first 10 days are not enacted, but they must be chanted. There's Vibhuti Narayan Singh shortly before he passed away. There's Richard Schechner. I don't usually ride on an elephant, but the Maharaja wanted me to have an elephant. There's a nice story to be told about that, which I'll tell tonight. There's the Maharaja years earlier in 1978, I believe, at the coronation. And so you can see how age took its toll over the years. He was a magnificent man. There's the Maharaja on Sita on the wedding day, and he has a sadhu who sits next to him, a naked babu. Here's some more important pundits over here. Well, they're not more important, but they're more decked out, let's say. He is a Muni Baba. He doesn't speak, but the Maharaja puts him right next to him. This same Muni Baba refuses to shelter himself from the rain and the cold, of which there is a lot. And so when other people are out there sheltering themselves in Ayodhya, he is naked. And then here he is leading the dancing and singing in Ayodhya on a sunny day. Women and children up here, men down there, they're singing bhajans. And here is a Hanumanji sadhu. Many sadhus come, and they identify with different roles. And here is Hanuman and Ravan engaged in one of their battles. Back here are the Vyasas, as the pundits who are the priests in charge of the Ramlila are called. They carry the Samvad book, the stage directions, and they prompt people. Here is what we call a Nemi, a perfect spectator. He has the horns of Vishnu. He has his umbrella in case it rains. He has a bench to keep him out of the mud. He has this to stay dry. He has his manas in front of him. He has a little carrying place for his water. This is in Lanka. You can see some of the demons, the smaller demons out there. People listen to the Ramcharitmanas. They're very interested in hearing it all. Some people, not all. Here is a typical North Indian female spectator. And there are many processions because each day of the Ramlila ends in one spot and then begins that same spot the next day. They don't begin where the next episode will take place because the movement is very important. Those of you who know Sanskrit knows that Ramayana, Ayana means journey, the journeys of Ram. The whole epic is the journeys of Ram. That's the Valmiki, and by the time it comes to Manas, it's the reflection in the lake of the deeds of Ram. So here we are moving, and people who cannot come to the Leela because they're too old or too frail come out in their doorstep, this old woman, and fold their hands and watch the gods go by. In Ayodhya, the stage is up here, the people are down here, the Ramayanis are singing over here, the Maharaja and the bigwigs are up in their elephants, controlling the crowd. The Maharaja listens to the Manas. The people listen to Ram. Of course, the Maharaja also listens to Ram, but the Manas is closer to the Maharaja. The Samvads are from up here. This is Chitrakoot, the first place of exile for Ram. And this is the great day, yes, the great day of Dasara. And here is certain ceremonies that only occur in Ramnagar. So here the Maharaja is about to leave the interior of his fort, the palace. And here we're looking down the main street of Ramnagar, where they're going to go from here to Lanka, which is way up over here, maybe 5 kilometers away. And there we see Ravan waiting. The war concludes. Ram kills Ravan. Ravan touches Ram's feet, actually, and the performer who performs Ravan goes back to his village. But then later that night, we have the cremation of Ravan. And 5 balloons, we don't see them in this picture, bear his soul to Ram. This is the way it looked in 1829. There's Ravan, or maybe Kumkarn, I'm not sure. I think it's Ravan because we see the arms. And this is done by Prinsep in 1829. So we know that in Ramnagar. So we know that they did have some kind of celebration, though not the full 31 days probably. This is the same picture that Rishika showed of the Milap. Here's coronation night, and the Maharaja, leaving everybody, comes and bids farewell to Ram as he gets coronated because it's coming to the end. And then there's a special ceremony called Kot Vidai, farewell, performed only in Ramnagar, where on elephants the Swarups arrive to the interior court of the Maharaja, where the ordinary people are allowed, on one of the few times of year they're allowed in. And the Maharaja himself does the puja, and then the Maharaja and his family actually wash the feet of Ram and Sita, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna, and they offer them food to eat. And then the next day, the Ramleela is over. The Maharaja does his 21-gun salute, and we go back to the glorious autumn looking at the holy Ganga River. Thank you. Come tonight, you won't regret it.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Professor Richard.
Schechner.
Professor Richard Schechner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's high time I will invite Dr. Geetapersad Gangaram Panday. He has obtained his MSc in Netherlands Law at the University of Utrecht in Netherlands. He was equally Minister of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Fisheries in Suriname from 2000 to 2005, and since 2006, member of Stadtraad Council of State. Since 1999 up till now, he is a honorary president and advisor of both Sri Sanatan Dharma Nikri and Sanatan Dharma Paramaribo Nos organizations. So I invite Dr. Panday to come forward with his presentations.
जय श्री राम। जब तक पहाड़ रहेगा और जब तक नदियां बहेंगा, तब तक रामायण का महत्व रहेगा। As long as the mountain range stand and rivers flow on earth, too long will this Ramayana survive upon the lips of man. Namaskar, good morning, Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start my presentation, I will have a bhajan for you, and I invite my brother Amrit Prasad to join me with the bhajan.
हमें निज धर्म पर चलना सिखाती रोज रामायण, सदा शुभ आचरण करना बताती रोज रामायण। हमें निज धर्म पर चलना सिखाती रोज रामायण। जिन्हें संसार सागर से उतर कर पार जाना है, जिन्हें संसार सागर से उतर कर पार जाना है, उन्हें सुख से किनारे पर लगाती रोज रामायण। हमें निज धर्म पर चलना सिखाती रोज रामायण। कहीं छवि विष्णु की झांकी, कहीं शंकर की है झांकी, कहीं छवि विष्णु की झांकी, कहीं शंकर की है झांकी। हृदय आनंद झूले पर झुलाती रोज रामायण। हृदय आनंद झूले पर झुलाती रोज रामायण। हमें निज धर्म पर चलना सिखाती रोज रामायण। सरल कविता के कुंजों में बना मंदिर है हिंदी का। सरल कविता के कुंजों में बना मंदिर है हिंदी का। जहाँ प्रभु प्रेम का दर्शन कराती रोज रामायण। हमें निज धर्म पर चलना सिखाती रोज रामायण। कभी वेदों के सागर में, कभी गीता के गंगा में, कभी वेदों के सागर में, कभी गीता के गंगा में, कभी रस बिंदु में मन को डुबाती रोज रामायण। हमें निज धर्म पर चलना सिखाती रोज रामायण। सदा शुभ आचरण करना बताती रोज रामायण। हमें निज धर्म पर चलना सिखाती रोज रामायण। अच्छा भाई,
Thank you. The Ramlila, the game of Lord Ram, Ram Katha, is based on the Ramayana. Except for religious aspects, the following are important. Moral values. The Ramayana is a unique work about rights and obligations, proceedings and behavior of the human being with respect to God, nature, human and society, culture and civilization. As ideal man and king and ideal woman, Ram and Sita have stood as a role model for people. As long there are people on earth, Ram and Sita will be giving a direction to their contents of thoughts and actions. Pedagogical meaning. The particular pedagogical meaning of Ramlila has become clear. When this play is performed in the way as it should be, it has an impact on the youth. Playfully, the youth comes to know about the great and noble cultural tradition on the Ramayana, but it also educates them and contributes to the formation of character of the boys and girls. They come in touch with the highest noble cultural aspirations, the cleanest ideals, and the noble survive of the human being embodied in the life and deeds of the characters of the Ramayana. Cultural meaning. About the cultural meaning, a narrower way, no discussion is needed, because the Ramayana itself stands as the lofty epic from the highest literature quality, where in a moving manner the ideal and personal relations are centered. It is a source of inspiration for all kinds of creative and artistic activities, and it has an effect on the language and idiom, thinking and talking in our daily life. Social meaning. The Ramlila has an immense social effect on the society. By organizing Ramlila, people from the neighborhood are brought together, where they get to know each other better in an atmosphere of attention and dedication. This effect is not only limited to Hindus, but also to people from other religious and ethnicities, from all sections of the population. This is very important for the national unity. The Ramlila, biggest work of Swami Tulsidas, if performed well in an atmosphere of devotion and consecration, ensures influencing people, transcends time and space. It breaks borders of ethnicity and color, religion and language, caste and ethnicity, and contributes to elevation of our people. Some information from Suriname. The abolition of slavery in Suriname on the 1st July 1863 led to a great shortage of laborers and farmers. In the period of 1873-1916, a total of 34,304 British immigrants, Indian immigrants, came to Suriname, of which about 1/3 part returned to India. The first group of about 400 people came on June 5, 1863, now 140 years ago. Surinamese people from Indian descendants still continue to play a major role in the farming business. Suriname has 10 districts, and they mainly live in the districts Paramaribo, Wanica, Conveina, Saramacca, and Nikeri. Suriname has various ethnic groups such as Hindustani, Creoles, Maroons, Japanese, Indigenous, Chinese, Lebanese, etc. And they continue to live peacefully together. The immigrants naturally took their religion, manners, habits, tradition, festivals, culture, and language along. In this way, the Ramlila has been introduced in Suriname. Ramlila in Suriname is usually performed outside in the open air. It consists 10 or 11 shows, with some of important events or episodes from the life of Lord Ram, Ramkatha, bring into view by a theater group or by residents of a neighborhood. Both the performances and the entries to the play are free. The key moments of the game of Lord Ram, Ramkatha, are, I will mention 11, which is very important by showing the Ramlila. First, the birth of Lord Ram, Ram Janama. Second, the education and forming by Rishi Vishwamitra. Third, breaking the Shiv arc and marriage with Sita, Viva. Fourth, the exile of Lord Ram, Banbas. Fifth, the fight between the brothers Sugrim and Bali. Sixth, the cutting of the nose and ears of Suryanekha by Lakshman. Seven, the robbery of Sita by Ravan, Sita Haran and her searching. 8. The fire stabling of Lanka by Hanuman, Lanka Dahan. 9. The battle of both armies. 10. The victory of Lord Ram and the burning of Ravan, Ravan Vad. 11. The moving encounter with Bharat after returning to Ayodhya, Bharat Milap. The Ramlila is usually performed in the bright half, Shukla Paksh, of the month Kuar or Ashwin, mostly September, October, which is quite beneficial for Suriname because the weather is nice and there are school holidays. It is also a tradition that on the 10th day of the bright half moon, the 25th day of the month Kuar, a giant doll representing Ravan, the symbol of evil, is burned. The first Grand Ramlila performance took place in Suriname around the year 1905. In Jan Boiti, half Flora in Paramaribo, the capital of Suriname, which was known as the Ramlila Center of the beginning of the last century. In the year 1915, the Ramlila was performed in other places like Kronenburg and Meerzorg in the district of Conveina, in Wergedag B in the district of Wanica, in Hermitage and Pondbuiten in the district of Paramaribo, the capital, and much later in the districts of Saramacca and Nikeri. From all parts of the country, even from distant districts, people came to watch those plays. The Ramlila festival in Suriname has a strong folkloric character. The whole neighborhood is involved. People of all ethnicities show great interest, especially the youth. Nowadays, mainly young people, boys and girls, do the performance. The Ramlila is often shown from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. The performances are usually preceded by singing and music of different singing groups. There is no political and governance influence in Ramlila and Suriname. The private sector helps with financial donations. There are no national courses or education to develop Ramlila further. Important for practitioners and scholars are the positive aspect of community life. In the very past, everything took place in Hindi. To make Ramlila available for other people than Indians and for the youth. Nowadays, there is also a summary in Dutch, our natural language. The universal message is victory from good over evil. This also makes it accessible to all population groups which enrich our national culture and promoting means of the united. Truth is a great virtue. A man, by remaining true to his words, can swim over the ocean of life. In 1977, in Suriname, we had a National Ramlila Committee, which committee is no longer active. It is necessary to activate this committee to launch new initiative of the Ramlila to step up to promote and to develop further a national cultural event. It should be seen as a cultural heritage of the society. Since the end of last century, there have been fewer Ramlila performances in Suriname. Only in few places the tradition of an annual performance has been continued. Many of the Ramlila developments, problems, and adaptations are not unique to one country or region. We live in a global world, and the issues and complications can be compared with others to inspire. Managing technology, modern equipment, for example, special lighting effects, exchange of ideas, network setup, motivation of greater sharing of Ramayana and Ramlila issues are important aspects for the future. The Suriname delegation, through this Ramlila conference in Trinidad, is looking for suggestions, proposals, and ideas for the further development of Ramlila. Jai Sri Ram, thank you.